Hello everyone, it is the beginning of August. I'm here today for a brand new video. How about that? And as the title suggests, this is about my first job ever. How do you like that? Anyways guys, today I've just had a horrible day. I've been online a lot and everyone online is I don't know, possessed. No one has an open mind anymore. And I just don't even want to think about it anymore. So I'm just gonna play this game and talk about this story time. And I'm just gonna post more story times, I guess, because I don't even want to hear it anymore, to be honest. It's difficult. I don't even want to talk about it here because people will ban you and report you and block you and ban you some more. They'll remove your websites, they'll take them down, take everything down, block, delete, shut down, block some more, ban the content, the proof. I don't know, guys, it's whatever. That's the world we live in. You can't, free speech doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't exist anymore. Someone gets a little butt hurt and that's it. It just takes a group of butthurt snowflakes and it's over for you. If you're not a snowflake, it's over. They come with the pitchforks. But let me forget all that. Let me move on with this story time. Whatever. So this story time begins in the beginning of the year 2017. Yes, we're heading all the way back to 2017. Our girl, EmyyWolf, because, I tell the story in third person. And I'm going to make these videos 30 minutes, guys. I'm timing it. I can't do the whole rambling and it becomes a really long video. So, 30 minutes. EmyyWolf, when she was maybe 18, she was entering college, but she was broke, so she had no money to pay for it. And her dad would be the one paying for it, and she didn't like that. Because her dad was very controlling. He was a real temperamental, controlling, control freak, narcissistic, one of those. So EmyyWolf decided, hey, I don't want this nut job paying for my college. I should be able to pay for it. So she dropped out until, she could get more money to pay for her college. But not only that, EmyyWolf also wanted to pay for her bills. And she had no money to pay for, her car insurance and the stuff she wanted to eat and everything in between and everything else. She left high school, so it was time to become an adult and get her first job. Her controlling, narcissistic, manipulative dad kind of was in not agreeing with this whole deal. And he got kind of angry and screamed and yelled at the top of the lungs. And EmyyWolf didn't give a single, beep. But moving on. EmyyWolf, she applies and applies for her very first job. And usually that's, kind of difficult for someone who left high school. Not left high school, I mean someone who graduated high school. Someone who just graduated high school, has no work experience. Jobs don't tend to hire people that are high school graduates a lot of the time, and this was the case. Anyway, after a while, EmyyWolf gets her very first job. It paid her a misery. It was miserable pay, but it was her very first job, and it was close to home. She could take her little car and go drive over there 5 minutes, cool, whatever. That's how that went. And so this is where she gets to meet a lot of the people at that job. So let me describe these characters for you. The first one and the most important one was a gay boy. Well, not a boy, I mean a guy, over the age. Come on, this guy, he was a manager. And we're gonna call him Farty. No, just kidding, no. But his name started with the letter F, so it might be, we're gonna call him Fernando. And he was gay and whatever. So EmyyWolf, she kind of had a crush on him. And she didn't know why, because this guy was kind of ugly. But she had kind of a crush on him because maybe he was a manager and he was tough and he behaved he knew his beep, he knew his shit, he knew what he was doing, confidence. He had these big ass hands and he had I don't know, just manly confidence, I guess, like masculine energy. Even though a lot of the time he tried to behave like a girl, like sometimes he tried to act like women, and that would like throw EmyyWolf off like a lot of the time. But it's whatever, that's how that went. Like EmyyWolf didn't even know why she had gotten a crush on this guy, but that's just how it went. First job and so on. The next person we're gonna talk about, it was like this one girl, this one big girl that was in there, and she was like best friends with Fernando there. Like EmyyWolf could not stand this big fatso girl who was always acting like she knew everything, and she was like trying to be a manager but wasn't. That girl, we're gonna call her Lazy, because literally her real name started with a letter L and it had a Z in it. And I'm not gonna say it obviously, but her name is gonna be Lazy because it matches her style and matches her behavior and how she looked and how she was basically a whale and huge and big or whatever. I couldn't stand this person, guys. Like, she wore glasses and she was kind of like Hispanic, I guess. So she had like the curls and she had that hair. And I don't know, maybe she was like Puerto Rican or Cuban or one of those. But this girl was just a problem. This girl, Lazy, used to kiss all the managers' asses for no reason, just to get praise, just to get the benefits, and maybe become a manager with her fat ass. Okay, guys? So that's Lazy. So I talked about Fernando, Lazy. After a while, this other girl came. She became EmyyWolf's friend, and she was cool and everything. Like, she was one of the people EmyyWolf knew from high school, literally, but she had dropped out of high school because she became like pregnant in high school. So she was one of those teen moms, and then she had to like leave and drop out of high school. And then, you know, maybe that's why EmyyWolf didn't see her in high school anymore, but EmyyWolf didn't even know her like that in high school. So, you know, when they met each other at that job, they just were like, oh, you went to this high school, so did I. And we're like, wow, whatever. So she was really chill. She was one of those people that became EmyyWolf's friends. And that's how that story goes. That girl, we're going to call Anna, because I don't even remember her freaking name, honestly. Anna wasn't the only person in that place who she knew from high school, who she reunited with in that place. So basically there's another person who we'll call Eiffel Tower, because I don't want to say her real name. And Eiffel Tower, maybe some of you know her from some of my stories and some of my other social media. But Eiffel Tower, we're going to talk about her later on. So it is Anna and Eiffel Tower, who EmyyWolf knew from high school. Anyway, back to this story about EmyyWolf's first job. Anna was like someone she knew from high school. And to continue talking about the rest of the characters, Anna basically ended up becoming like her bestie instead of that job. And that job was kind of like a restaurant. So it was one of those really shitty, horrible, just whack freaking first jobs that anyone could have. And it's like McDonald's or, you know, Taco Bell or something like that. One of those really minimum wage dumb jobs where they treat you really bad, and it just sucks. Those jobs really tend to suck. Maybe because the job is so shitty that even the managers gotta act like they're on top of the world. They gotta act like they're CEOs, even though they're just nothing. So right now I think I talked about almost 4 people now. It's Fernando, that one girl, Lazy, that big one fat ugly lazy girl, Anna, and Eiffel Tower, who we're gonna shorten their name up to just Eiffel. We're just gonna call her Eiffel because Eiffel Tower is like 2 words and it's longer, so just Eiffel. The next person that we're gonna talk about, she was a manager like Fernando, but she was way older. She was like an older Hispanic lady. Like, she spoke English, but her English was like kind of with an accent, so you could tell that she's like Hispanic. And she wore glasses and she was kind of chubby. And I'm not gonna say her real name, but I'm gonna say a name that starts with her letter name. So her name is gonna be Mary. And Mary was a sweet lady, you guys. Like, even if she was a manager, and you know how a lot of managers, they have this like micromanaging behavior. Well, she wasn't like that. Like, sure, she trained and this did all this and that, and she took her time. So she was like a wonderful person, you guys. Like, she would train you like how a human being is supposed to train someone. And even Fernando, who EmyyWolf had a crush on, he was a sweet person too when he wanted to be. But he wasn't like really strict or anything. He just did the job right. Like, he wasn't like one of these trying to be CEOs type micromanaging managers. Like, he was a lot like Mary. So they were both two sweet managers, like sweet and nice and peaceful, and take their time with you, train you, treat you like human being, you know what I'm saying? So that's how that went. Guys, if you hear me talking like all sarcastic and stuff, it's because I'm still pissed about this whole blocking and banning and reporting thing that's going on in all the websites. And you know how I'm like a flat earther and really like religious? You know, it pisses me off, you know? Like, free speech is free. Why does it have the word free on front of it? Anyway, moving on. Like, if you show me disrespect, I'm gonna show you that same disrespect right back to you. I don't even care about anybody's feelings. You know what I'm saying? My dad used to say, when someone is attacking you, you don't drop to the ground in a fetal position for you to take the hits. You fight back. You give them the taste of their own medicine. But let me get back into this amazing story. The next character that we're gonna talk about in this story of my first job, we're gonna call her Shamu, because she was like lazy but bigger. Like, these two girls were balloons, all right? They were circles, spheres, globes, whatever you want to call it. They didn't even have shape anymore. So lazy was kind of like 2-3 girls put together, but Shamu was like 4 girls put together. You know what I'm saying? If you're getting offended over what I'm saying, you can leave. There's the door, all right? I say things how they are. I don't know how to describe these people anymore. I'm just giving you descriptions. You know how the police calls people by their description? They literally use words like black and white. They literally go like, but they don't say it. They go like Echo, Whiskey, Bravo, Alpha, Mike, Fox. But you're not gonna hear them say literal, like, offensive words. Like, I could have said heavy set, but I'm not gonna call her heavy set. I'm gonna call her Shamu, okay? Anyway, Shamu was kind of the worst person I've ever met in that horrible job. I mean, EmyyWolf, because we're in third person here. Well, not the worst, but she was one of like the worst ones. Now, Shamu, she came to that job later on. She wasn't one of those people that EmyyWolf started out with. She was one of like, I don't know how to explain, but maybe she was like a manager from another restaurant around there. Like, this job was kind of like a huge mall, but it wasn't a mall. It was just like a big station, okay? A station for travel. So Shamu, she kind of knew Mary, and she kind of knew Fernando, because she was like a manager, but she was like a manager from another stupid restaurant around there. And it was one of these restaurants, like what EmyyWolf was doing, like Taco Bell, like McDonald's, one of those cheap trash restaurants that they pay you nothing. I don't mean they pay you nothing. I mean, they basically pay you minimum wage. They pay you movie tickets as money. They pay you with coins. I'm just kidding, guys. I mean, yeah, obviously they pay you money, but they pay you like shit money, so that's what I meant. Anyway, moving on with the story. So this is where we get to our next character, and our next character, we're gonna call her Witch. Yes, exactly. Her name is gonna be Witch. Literally the word witch. W-I-T-C-H. You know, like the ones that sit on broomsticks and fly through the sky. That kind of a witch. That's what I'm trying to say. This woman, oh my god. The way to describe her, I don't know. Because this is one of the most vile person I've ever met in my entire life. This is like the most demonic ass person I've ever met in my existence. Alright, so let me describe her this way. Witch, she was kind of like Mary. So she was kind of like an older lady. Very old, actually. Well, not like a grandma, but she was getting there. She was like middle age. And I think Mary was almost middle age. They were around there. They were almost like in the same area. And basically, how witch was. She was also kind of like a Hispanic lady, like Latin American, Hispanic, whatever you want to call it, from Cuba. Now, witch there was vile, evil. Her energy was so negative. You could feel all her hate. She always carried an angered expression, like if she was about to beat someone up, like if she was about to talk smack, like she was like someone ticked her off at all times, no matter what. It was unbelievable. I'm telling you, when I say that you've never met a mofo like this one. This creature from the depths of hell, literally the depths of hell. There's no one like her. There's no one, not even now in 2022, have I met such character, guys. But that was witch. Now, her description as far as it goes, she, like I said, she had an angered expression. She just, no smiles. Her face, like it was like a mask full of hate and anger. Anyone she looked at with anger. She treated the employees like poorly. And this vile, demonic person, everyone complained about. Everyone had an issue with her. Everyone could feel her hate. It was just unbelievable how there could be someone like that, just hating life for no reason. Not only that, but witch was a manager. She was just like Fernando, like Mary. And she must have been making more money, unlike the pennies that the employees earned, like EmyyWolf earned. So why was she so upset and so angered and hating for no reason when she was making more than everybody? Or like the other managers. She treated Anna poorly. She treated some of the Haitian employees poorly. She treated EmyyWolf poorly. EmyyWolf is still traumatized to this day. Witch wasn't like a bully, but she just did everything with hate, anger, hate, more anger. Just a complete ball of negative energy. And it didn't even end there, guys, because witch, she was just loose in the sense that she was disrespectful. She had no respect. She had no humility. She had no humanity. She would just plain out curse at you in her language, in Spanish. She will tell you whatever comes to her mind. No repercussions, because she was friends with the freaking boss. She was friends with the main boss, the top dog. That's who she was friends with, and so she was always protected. But she would plain out curse at you and put you down. She would give you all kind of attitude, all kind of side eyes. She would always just give you hella anger and hate. And if you did something wrong, if you did something she didn't like, if you did something differently or in a way that she didn't agree with, she will tell you off and you could do nothing about it. And damn, did she curse and snap at EmyyWolf. It was unreal. And EmyyWolf even at first thought that witch just hated her, even though she did see that witch was snapping and cussing at some of the other employees. She didn't really hear all the other employees complain about her as much as she did, until one day, Anna, she comes over to EmyyWolf and says, "Hey EmyyWolf, witch needs some dick. She just needs some dick." And EmyyWolf, she just couldn't. But that's basically our character, Witch here, of course. And she was the worst one of all, obviously. And Witch there had her favorites too, here and there. She would make it a point to show who were her favorites. Like, on top of yelling and cussing and outright disrespecting a lot of the employees, including myself, EmyyWolf, she just went out of her way to show who she was nice to on her own. Now, the last character that we're going to talk about here is going to be the main boss. And of course, we're going to use a substitute name to identify her, because we're not going to use her real name, obviously. And we're going to call her Miranda. Okay, that just fits her. Miranda, she was a older lady, just like Mary, just like Witch. And she was, I guess she was okay. Like, she tried to be respectful and nice. And so she was like, I guess, decent. She did have attitude a bit, and she did have kind of like the side-eye thing going on, and all that weird micromanaging, weird like demonic behavior, but she wasn't as vile and horrible as Witch. You could say that Miranda was more like passive aggressive. Like she would talk to you like she respects you, and later on she would be like giving you the side eye and just, doing everything with some kind of an attitude here and there. And I guess it was because she was more like strict, so she had a seriousness to her, and she did seem to have a temper, but she was not, she was nowhere near Witch. She was way more professional than Witch, 100%. But moving on, one of the events that transpired in EmyyWolf's time at that horrible restaurant is that Fernando, her little manager there, the gay one, he ended up quitting like pretty fast. And it was very just sad that happened, because when you have a crush on someone, it's just special, it just feels different. It makes everything more exciting. It makes everything more significant. Otherwise, it's just boring. It's just boring, and day after day, and it's just another day. Like when you catch a crush on someone, it's different. Now, the last character that I almost forgot to mention is this one girl of color, and we're gonna call her Nishaha. Exactly how you heard, Nishaha, because I'm not gonna say her real name. But this girl, she was hired almost alongside EmyyWolf, you could say, and she immediately became friends with Fernando before he left, obviously, and especially that one gigantic girl, Lazy. So it was mainly Lazy and Fernando who became friends with Nishaha, and it was pretty much like that. And since EmyyWolf could not stand Lazy for the hell of herself, the hell of life, she could not stand her, so she would not really engage with Fernando and Nishaha, even though Nishaha seemed like a cool kind of like person. Anyway, it turned out, and it ended up that what's her name, Lazy, she ended up becoming like attached to Nishaha, and she started like kissing her ass and kissing up to Fernando and Nishaha, and it was just like she was mad, kissing their ass and just doing whatever they do and trying to like follow them where they go and trying to like act like she cares about them and is their bestie. That's kind of how that went. Lazy was literally a kiss-ass attention seeker of the worst kind you've ever seen in your entire life. I promise you. Regardless, the story of Nishaha ends up pretty quick too. So basically, Nishaha and Lazy, since they were kind of close, they were going out, and Lazy was kind of like a virgin loser, so she kissed up to Nishaha and ended up going out and ended up getting like her first tattoo on her ginormous Lazy body. And later on, Nishaha and Lazy, they stopped being so close. I don't remember exactly why, but they did. Like, they had drama with each other. And that's when EmyyWolf took advantage and she became friends with Nishaha. And after that, it was found that Nishaha was trying to steal other people's money, and she was trying to steal food from the restaurant, and she was like literally stealing someone's credit card to the point that the police came over and arrested her in front of everybody from that travel station. So that was the story of Nishaha. It ended pretty quick, just like the story of Fernando. Sadly and unfortunately, in the end, EmyyWolf couldn't stand her anymore. Now, another event that transpired in that sorry restaurant is that Shamu, that one gigantic whale, the one that wouldn't really be there like that, or was barely there, she ends up yelling at EmyyWolf one day. So the story goes that EmyyWolf one day just came in and she clocked in, and the manager was obviously Shamu there that day, and Anna was there somewhere, and Anna saw me clock in, but EmyyWolf decided to use the restroom pretty quickly before returning to work. Without saying anything, she just clocked in and went to use the restroom. She said hello to Anna, and obviously Anna ended up telling Shamu that EmyyWolf came and clocked in, and obviously Shamu realized that EmyyWolf didn't say anything. So when EmyyWolf returned, Shamu caught Emily taking a while in the restroom, which is what women do. And when EmyyWolf came back, this ginormous Shamu creature yelled at EmyyWolf in the most unbelievable, dramatic, SJW, satanic, demonic way that you can possibly imagine at the top of her gigantic whale lungs. EmyyWolf just had to stand there and take it. It was the most loudest, most unbelievable, demonic screeching that you could ever possibly hear in your existence. Of course, after almost 3 to 5 minutes of this gigantic whale screeching at the top of its lungs, Shamu ends up calling Miranda, the main boss, and telling on EmyyWolf, obviously. And after that, EmyyWolf had to call Miranda through the phone to explain her situation. And Miranda never did at one point screech or yell or shout in any sort of way that you can imagine at all, being the top boss that she is. Miranda just calmly told EmyyWolf not to ever do it again. Can you believe that? Anyway, after a while, Anna ended up quitting too. Anna was done with the behavior of the angered witch. Remember witch? Yeah, Anna could no longer take witch. She could no longer stand her. And EmyyWolf understood. There was a plan where the employees were getting ready to all report and make a written statement against witch, but Anna decided to leave before that. She just couldn't take it. Later on, that one heavy-set creature, not Shamu, but the not-so-big one, Lazy, ends up becoming a manager, obviously, after having kissed everyone's ass, absolutely everyone, from one restaurant to the other, literally becoming besties with absolutely every single manager that existed there. And this is where EmyyWolf couldn't take it anymore. She couldn't stand that they let that one lazy creature, Lazy, become a freaking manager somehow. EmyyWolf could no longer stand the behavior from that literal witch from hell that was getting worse by the day. And that is when EmyyWolf decided to turn to Miss Eiffel Tower, which we're gonna call Eiffel. Eiffel, she was working there in that travel station, but she was in a different department. We're just gonna call it public safety department. She was doing public safety type job, and EmyyWolf is how did you get in that job? Oh my god, how much do they pay? And Eiffel is girl, they don't pay a restaurant pay. They pay you decent money. It's not like a McDonald's, what you're doing there, flipping burgers, putting cheese on something and serving it to the cows. You know what I'm saying? So girl, come over here and work public safety with me. You don't have to stay there tolerating that vile witch and tolerating that lazy slob. You can come over here and we can talk about all the drama that happened in high school, like we did in high school, because I know you from high school, and we can literally just be here making hella cash. And that's basically when EmyyWolf decided to quit that hellish job at that hellish restaurant full of witches. Yes, it was the best decision EmyyWolf could have ever made in her life. Because when I tell you some of the next stories that happen, you won't believe it. It just gets crazier and crazier. Crazier. One of the weird stories, however, that happened at that hellish restaurant is that there was this one toothpick girl, that's what we're gonna call her, and she was a Hispanic girl with teeth of a squirrel. That's just how EmyyWolf remembers her. And there was this other Hispanic boy, and he was also kind of long and kind of like a toothpick, kind of really skinny just like her. So EmyyWolf ended up switching to the nighttime where those two characters worked together, and she ended up finding out that those two characters were smashing each other. They were both hideous. And the only one who knew their little secret story was the vile angered witch herself. But yeah, EmyyWolf ended up quitting that job after only 6 months of having working there. All those things happened after 6 months, within 6 months. Can you believe that? Anyway, I just want to say a quick goodbye and thank you so much for listening. All my links are down below and I'll see you all in the next one.